Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 68th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought the Rome Julii faction, Brotherhood member Kendi, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. Kendi is the most continuous, long-serving member of the Brotherhood, and it's great to see him on the modern battlefield. He doesn't play RTW much now, so it's great to see him. Our next teammate is myself, Brotherhood member Spartan Commander, and our final teammate is Brotherhood member Killer B, who has bought the Rome BROTHERHOOD faction. So that's our team, full of real experienced, great Brotherhood members there. But you wait till you see the other team. I think you're going to be in for a treat this game. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Pompey, who has called himself Celt in this game, but it's actually Brotherhood member Pompey, and he has bought the Rome SBQR faction. We have Brotherhood member Talos, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. We have King's member Marcus, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. And Brotherhood member Albertus, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. You don't see Albertus on RTW much now, so it's good to see him. So there's the two teams. I think you would agree this should be a great battle to watch. At this early stage of the battle, you can see that Brotherhood member Pompey with his SBQR army is being quite aggressive towards our ally Brotherhood member Uther's Julii army here. And as you can see, Brotherhood member Kendi has just charged his cavalry in there into the SBQR infantry. Brotherhood member Kendi was always renowned for his aggressive attacking tactics. And although he hasn't played, I don't think I've seen him on RTW this year so far. It's good to see that he's still got those aggressive tactics still within him. So that was a great hit there by his cavalry. I think seeing all the cavalry here on our right flank here, and the way that the enemy are looking, I think this could be maybe the flashpoint for the battle here, because I know that Brotherhood member Pompey with the SBQR army there is quite an aggressive player too, so it wouldn't surprise me if things kind of kicked off here on the right flank. As you can see, Pompey is moving more units forward to attack Uther. With all that cavalry out there, enemy cavalry, I mean that, as I said earlier, things could kind of really kick off here on this right flank. As you can see here, Pomp is moving his infantry round quite tactically here. He's moving some units over here. He might be thinking of maybe moving round the flank of Uther's army there. As you can see, Uther's charging some cavalry into Pompey's units. The only trouble with that is, of course, Pompey's got infantry units now throwing their pilas into Uther's cavalry. So I dare say Uther kind of lost a few cavalry there due to those enemy pila hits. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on the right. Still at this early stage of the battle, you can see now that Talos has brought some reinforcements over to help Pompey here on their flank against Uther. So now Uther's got quite a few enemy troops from both Talos' army and Pompey's army is facing him. Here you can see now Uther's charging his cavalry in here, and also Kendi's charging his cavalry in as well into the enemy infantry. And as you can see now, Talos is counter-attacking with his Scipio cavalry there, and bang! That was some some massive cavalry hits there. But if you notice at this stage of battle, you can see that Uther's Julii army now is in danger of possibly being flanked. Can you see the enemy forces gradually moving around his side? So both Kendi's sending reinforcements, and I'm sending kind of a mini army over there as well to go onto that right flank to try and, if you like, prop it up a little bit against the enemy flanking attack, possible flanking attack there. As you notice, they've gone a little bit wide now, probably with a view of trying to flank Uther's army there. And here you can see another cavalry hit here going in by Uther, and bang, straight into the Scipii infantry there. But I think he noticed that the Scipii cavalry was coming across there, so he decided to pull out, which may well have been a wise move there. As you can see, the enemy SPQR cavalry and other Scipii cavalry are charging into some of Uther's units and routing several of his units there. So things are pretty hot here on our right flank. As you can see there, some of our allies are counter-attacking with their cavalry, but my guess is the enemy cavalry is going to pull back now. Yeah, the enemy cavalry is starting to pull back a little bit now. So wisely, our allies decide not to chase them into their infantry. If you notice here, I've got a mini army of 3 urban units and a Eagle unit there. The reason I put the Eagle unit there with them is to give them extra morale. So that's kind of like my little mini army there on the right flank, just to try and stop any flanking action going on there. Meanwhile, in the centre, you can see there's a lot of big cavalry hits going in on Uther and I think Kendi's cavalry there. So things are like we thought. They are heating up a bit here on the right flank. As you can see, my small mini army here on the far right there is, I think it's pretty strong enough to stop any of the units that's there at the moment anyway trying to flank. So anyway, I've paused the game here so we can have a look and see what's happened here. As you can see, once again, that's my mini army there with the Eagle unit. As you know, urban cohorts have got excellent morale, but if you put a command unit, either your general or an Eagle unit, it gives them even more morale and makes them less likely to rout in battle. So that's why I've put a command unit, Eagle unit, with it there. As you can see here in the centre, well, on the right centre here, you can see that there's a lot of action going on, attack, and you can see a lot of cavalry backed up behind both teams' armies here. So there could be some massive cavalry hits going in on our right flank here. We'll just have to see what happens there. As you can see, with all that enemy cavalry and our cavalry there, I think as soon as they see an opportunity, they will charge in. And there we see, I think it's Uther's cavalry there, charging into the SPQR units there. If you notice, the SPQR general spotted that and started to move his units back to try and stop them from being routed, but I think Uther managed to get one of the units there and routed them. So if you notice now, we've kind of bought our bought some units over here to protect the right flank now. So our right flank that's pretty strong now. It wouldn't surprise me if they think about attacking somewhere else now they've seen the strength on our right. So here on our right, things seem to have come to a bit of a standstill there. But if you notice, over on our left, Talos has moved his cavalry and is moving some infantry units up there to our left. Also, I noticed that Marcus is moving infantry to our left as well. So it looks to me like they're switching direction to where they're going to attack. If you notice, I spotted this and I've moved my cavalry from the right flank up to the left now in anticipation of possibly Talos' cavalry charging into our allies' Brutii infantry there. If you notice, the enemy Scipii cavalry are moving round to our left flank now probably with a view to charge into the flank of Killer's Brutii army there. If you notice now that Killer's bringing his Brutii infantry over. The units that he sent to support the right flank, he's now moving them back over to his own left flank now. And with the amount of enemy cavalry and troops that's moving around to our left, I think that's a pretty good move there. Yeah, I think when they actually start attacking Killer's army here, he's going to be under a heck of a lot of pressure because there's so much cavalry and so much infantry there. If you noticed, Killer's moving his Brutii infantry back a little bit to try and avoid being hit in the flank by that Scipii cavalry there. But there is certainly a build-up here on our left flank of enemy troops, both infantry and cavalry, so unless it's kind of a tactical move here and they're going to attack on our right, this could be a bit of a heavy attack here on our left. As you see there, the enemy Scipii cavalry there has spotted our infantry moving back, and if he could hit infantry while they're running back, you can sometimes rout them, so that's what he was taking a chance on there. But if he stays there too long, he's going to get hit by the Brutii cavalry. And bang, both the Scipii cavalry units have been routed there. But if you notice now that the enemy Scipii infantry units are starting to move in onto our allies' Brutii army here. If you notice that Talos has got a couple of infantry units there, my guess is he's going to take around the flank of our Brutii ally there with a view to charging in from behind, so we need to watch that. We've got our cavalry here lined up ready to charge in, but we're just going to have to wait for the right time here. You can see there's Scipii cavalry moving around to our left, as well as those couple of Scipii infantry units. Okay, looks like we're charging in. You see all our cavalry going in. There's my cavalry going in as well. The enemy Scipii cavalry here is charging as well. This is going to be a heck of a smash. And bang! All the cavalry charging in together. Whoa. And as you can see there straight away, a lot of the enemy Scipii infantry and some of the enemy Scipii cavalry are starting to rout there with the impact of those cavalry hits. That was some powerful cavalry attacks going in there. As you can see now, the thing is to pull your cavalry back out now and try and get ready to charge in again, so you get the full charge bonus. But I still think things are kind of in the balance here on the left hand side. If you notice the number of enemy infantry and cavalry there on the left, it's still quite a lot. Just going to pause the game here at this stage, just so we can take stock of what's going on. As you can see, our allies, the Brutii ally and our Julii allies there are on the left, and you can see the enemy Scipii army all around them. So I think things are still pretty well in the balance here on the left hand side. Not quite sure how that's going to turn out there, but if you notice over on the right flank, you can see that Brotherhood member Pompey has brought his SBQR cavalry in behind, or flank behind there, ready to charge in. Plus, he's attacking with his infantry aggressively into our Julii army there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
The enemy general flees. Press forward.
Meanwhile, on our left, we're charging in cavalry. The enemy general's just been killed, so that is going to spark a mass rout of the enemy there. So with that massive cavalry hit we've just done, it looks like we've pretty well routed most of the enemy Scipii units on our left. So what looked like a bad situation now is turned out not too bad on our left. But meanwhile on our right, you can see the SBQR cavalry charged in, starting to try to rout our units here on the right. Also the SBQR general is attacking aggressively with his infantry. So I just hope that our right flank will be able to hold here now. If we just need to start bringing reinforcements over from our left to help on the right. Although there are still several enemy Scipio units over there on the left. It might be better to bring some more reinforcements over here to the right. You see the SBQR cavalry pulled back, ready to charge in again to get the full cavalry charge bonus there, and bang. You notice my Eagle unit's just routed. So my command unit's just routed that I put with my mini army there, and then another one of my units have just routed. So it was a good hit by the SBQR cavalry there to get rid of my Eagle unit, because that has now lowered morale of the troops I had there. As you can see, Uther's charging in with his cavalry. I think overall we seem to have more cavalry left than the enemy, but I think everybody's cavalry is really battle damaged anyway. I'm bringing over some urban units to the right flank. Meanwhile, over on the left here you can see that the enemy Scipii infantry and cavalry are attacking some of my units here on the left, but I've got my general right behind those units, giving them morale, so I'm hoping they're going to hold against the ferocious attack of those Scipii forces there. Meanwhile, back over on our right, you can see that the SBQR force is doing really well. They just charged his cavalry in again, but I think numbers are going to tell here now on the right. If you notice now, there's a heck of a lot more Julii units there than there is SBQR or Scipii units there. So I think the numbers game could start to tell now on the on our right flank. If you notice here, a lot of the action's been here on the right to start off with, then it switched to the left. So this battle has really moved literally from one side of the battlefield to the other. And it's been very, very tactical. Meanwhile, over on our left, you can still see there's a lot of Scipii infantry and cavalry still battling on there against our teammates Brutii and some of my Julii units there as well.
The enemy general flees. Press forward.
But over on our right now,
The enemy general is slain.
it looks like we've
And now
managed
he
to
may fear us. It is time to press the attack.
rout most of the enemy SBQR army there now, and there's just a few units of enemy Scipii infantry left. So it looks pretty well. I think that, you know, it won't take very long to kind of rout these units now. We're looking at how many allied units we've got left in comparison to the enemy team. I wouldn't surprise me if we routed them quite quickly now. Yeah, so in the right now we've kind of routed all the enemy team that were on the right, and there's just a few Scipii units now left over on the left that I would think would soon rout now under the pressure of all the units that we've still got left. I'm just looking at the dead on the battlefield. Look at the cavalry dead, especially here, where those massive cavalry hits went in. Look at all those dead cavalry. I mean, it just goes to show how tough the battle was there for the cavalry, especially. I know there's loads of infantry dead there as well, but the cavalry was the cavalry deaths there were amazing, really. The force of those charges and the impacts. And then, of course, over on the right flank, you've got mostly infantry. This is a very unusual battle, as you've got hardly any dead in the centre of the battlefield, but all the casualties are on the left and the right flank. So that is quite unusual for a battle. There are some actions in the centre, but in this battle it was just a kind of just on the flank battle, really. Quite an interesting game. The first thing I'd like to say is really well played by everybody in the game. You could see the experience and great tactical skill shown by all the players in this battle. The cavalry hits were tremendous. If when you see the impact of those cavalry going in, and then in that particular part of the battlefield where you saw all the dead cavalry, God, you could see how really powerful those charges were. I thought the other team played extremely well. There were some great tactical moves, as I said, some really powerful cavalry hits, and I like some of the tiny strategic moves that the enemy team made as well. You might watch on the battlefield. They were really well played by them, and really well played with the team that I was in as well. I thought everybody played as a team. Any new players to RTW, you might have noticed that on the right flank, when we noticed Uther was under pressure, we sent reinforcements over there, all our cavalry and lots of infantry units, and that's why our right flank held so well, is because of great teamwork. And that's the key to winning battles on RTW, is great teamwork. To any new players watching, the Spartan Commander saying, see you soon.